Well, welcome back to the Patriot Broadcasting Project. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and today we are continuing the saga of the Calkins family ranch. With me again today, Aaron Prince, Tyler Calkins Stozer. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Jeez. Thank you for having us. Thank you,
The-
Bubba.
Yeah, well, the last time we left off, I was like, we need to get together once a week at least and kind of recap it. And at this point, I don't know if once a week is often enough with as much happens in a 7 day stretch. So, we were talking a little bit last time about some criminal charges that have been levied against you and kind of going through that, but you still have these, civil cases and a lot of other things going on. And you just left the courtroom recently this week. So I'll kind of let you pick it up from the recent, trip to the courtroom there and kind of share what had happened. And we're going to talk about the emotional toll that's being levied on you and your whole family throughout this whole ordeal as well.
Yeah, just absolutely nuts. I was preparing to go up to that Judge Bobby rank, and she had falsified my name to a public defender document. I never signed it. That sheriff, I'm guessing, well, one of the two sheriffs or few sheriffs there in Jones County, somebody signed her name to that search warrant left at my cabin. And you've seen that, Bubba. And I go in there. This thing's a mistrial from the get-go just because of their misactions. And I get there, there's a big police presence, like I'm some bad person. Um, my grandmother, she got there before we did. And that's what our elders do. They're known to be there early. And that attorney that got placed on me had the gall to pull my grandmother. My grandmother's in her 80s. She just lost the love of her life. She just lost her closest daughter. And then she about loses her closest grandson, the one that's there for her. And oh, that Aaron, he's gonna get Tyler put in prison. He's gonna get Tyler put in prison. Emotionally distraughting my grandmother. We get there. There's a big police presence. It's like a big show. Look, it was like a damn clown show. You know, um, my grandmother's in tears, and it emotionally distraughted a guy. I wasn't prepared for that. You know, then the state's attorney there, that state's attorney, she's conflict of interest. It's like, what in the heck is going on here? They wouldn't let us come in with video cameras. It's like, what are you guys trying to hide from? You know, I'm fearful for my own safety because I hear about some of the shit that they've done to other people, and there's other people that they've done heinous things to, but they're afraid to talk. They're fearful for their children's lives and their families' lives, and they don't want to come forward because they're afraid of what might happen. You know, it's just wrong. Well, Aaron, he's trying to tell him, hey, it's constitutionally protected, right?
Yeah, well, it's First Amendment, and you have the right to videotape a public servant doing their public duty, and it absolutely is the law, and everything else has to be set aside based on their policies. So they're protecting themselves. That's the whole point. I mean, it's always been an issue for years to be able to. It doesn't matter what court you're in, but you absolutely have the right to videotape them if you know.
Everybody else has got video cameras in there. Why can't we?
Well, what they do is now that you don't have recording of it, they'll charge you for the transcript or the video. So it's another aspect of commercialization of your court case. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be a public record. It should be accessible by everybody. And it's not, as you know, it's a private tribunal that they're conducting. So,
And then so I humor and try to hear what this guy has to say, and I go in there and I'm like, he's trying to talk to me. I say, What makes you think that I could trust you? You know, I didn't ask for you, but yet here you are. My name got signed to documents, and here you are trying to stir the pot, emotionally tormenting my grandmother, which just absolutely wrecks me. I wasn't prepared for that at all. I'm sitting there trying to comfort my grandmother, and you give the poor girl a heart attack. That's too much damn stress on my grandmother. Um, and then he gives me paperwork. He's like, "Oh, well, Bobby stepped down and this new judge is in." And I look down at the paperwork and I read killing her. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? This is just absurd. This is nuts. This is just crazy. This is just like what kind of kangaroo court freak show is this?
Right.
Judge Killinger, I
Tyler,
got a federal lawsuit on you.
Yeah, exactly. Take a second to go into why it's so absurd, and kind of refresh our listeners' memories a little bit about who the judge who's now presiding over these hearings is
This
and their
Judge
affiliation.
This Judge Killinger, Klinger.
Klinger, yeah.
Yeah. She was presiding over a land partition. Well, first, that land partition shouldn't have been happening. The state's supposed to uphold the intent of the testator, right? It said undivided. So they're supposed to uphold his intent. Undivided is undivided. It doesn't mean divide it right off the bat, right? I give that judge, first I have an attorney, Quentin Riggins, and I'm like, there's something really wrong here. And then later I find out that Quentin Riggins was the same attorney that my mom originally got a hold of to make them give up the will that they are holding on. And I'm highly suspect on if that was even his will or if parts of it was, or, pages 1 and 2 didn't even have an initial or a signature on a multi-million-dollar cattle ranch. Anybody could have typed up them first 2 pages. Anybody. You want us to believe this? And then all this stuff that happens along the way. And this goes on for a while. And I'm telling that Quentin Riggins.
Tyler, I just want to stop you. I mean, the partition, now that's obviously we have the fallout. Your grandfather dies, right? Mm-hmm. So we have the fallout. Obviously there's a will. There's a piece of paper that says will on the top of it, I guess.
There was no power of attorney to move forward with what they did. They didn't have the authority. And the reason why they made her get an attorney, because as soon as she got the attorney to get the document to see what they were talking about, basically it's a joinder with a contract. So that's how
it's an old legal procedure that they use to trap people into stuff, from what I understand.
Yeah, if they're creating a joinder, but now they've got a joinder, even though that was not a valid thing, they assume and presume that it is valid now because you've contracted an attorney, a third party, to get the document that had no validity in the first place. So they just created a contract out of thin air because as soon as Robert passed away, unless there was a valid contract to continue on with the power of attorney, which I guarantee that there is not.
No, my grandfather in the hospital, when he was talking with the doctor asked him, Rob, do you have power of attorney? He said, no, I don't have power of attorney. He said, well, do you have medical power? He said, no, I don't have no medical power of attorney. And the doctor said to him, he's like, well, maybe you should probably at least think about medical power of attorney. Is there anybody that you know and trust well enough that might be able to make decisions on your behalf in case you can't do it yourself? And he looks right over at me. He said, oh, my grandson here. So at that moment at the Vera Hospital down in Sioux Falls, my grandfather denounced anybody having any type of power of attorney over him and only gave me medical power of attorney over him because he knew that his grandson, no matter what, would do what was best. And after they were all said and done, and done doing all their tests, and they're basically told us, oh, well, don't be surprised if when you come back in the morning that he's not on life support, tubes down his throat and nose and shit. I said, what in the hell? No. If you guys are done doing your tests and there ain't nothing more you can do, he ain't gonna sit there and die on hoses. So I got him back to the ranch. You know, that was probably one of the greatest honors I could do for my grandfather, because my great grandfather died in the hospital. I wasn't gonna let him die in the hospital. I got him back home, and that man got life back into him again. You know, they said 24 to 48 hours he was gonna have left to live, and he made another 2 weeks. And one thing he said too, he said, I'll be damned if I die before that queen." The queen died, and he passes the next day. And so he held out. He stayed true to that, you know. But that Quentin Riggins, me and mom was still alive yet. We're like, no, this ain't right. This ain't right. None of this is right. My mom was an intelligent lady. We're sitting there going through code laws and stuff, trying to see, because obviously they weren't doing the work. Well, we find the South Dakota code laws that backed up our argument that was partnership assets, because it's always been used. That's where the RBRC was born. That's where the whole thing started. If it wasn't for that place, there wouldn't be a place, you know. Well, my mom died in the middle of this.
Under suspicious circumstances, I think we always need to add into this as well, especially
Pretty
on this
extreme,
program.
pretty extreme circumstances.
Yeah, you got another sheriff department not acting in their normal protocol. But then I get hit again. Oh, you need to hurry up and make a decision. You need to hurry up and figure out how you want to split that land, or the courts are going to do it for you. Distraughting me into even making a decision. I told that Quentin Riggins, I said, you couldn't pay me to draw a line on this damn place, you know? It don't comprehend with me. It does. What are you talking about? Well, it kept pushing, and my mom dies. And then they did back off just a little, but I think it was like a month later, I get a call from him again. I'm like, Jesus Christ, my mom just died, and you guys you're talking about breaking up land? Or you guys are sick. Like, give me some time.
Well, and they're just, I mean, Aaron, maybe you can speak to this, because this is such a larger story, right? The Calkins ranch isn't the first ranch that's been attacked like this. It's not even the first ranch in this county to be attacked in this way. So
a lot of families have come to me, talked to about the concerns and what they've gone through. It's really, really bad.
Brother, I have gotten people reaching out to me now as these things are coming out and saying, hey, we have more documents. We would like our story to be told as well. So obviously, and we're talking about a very, very minimally populated county in the middle of South Dakota, right? Like under 10,000 people total, I would assume, damn near, in these counties. There aren't that many people there. So every single person that is, you have to assume at this point, because pretty much everyone has a conflict of interest, from the attorneys to the judges to the sheriffs. Everyone seems to have it down the generational lines, some kind of stake in this piece of family property. So I don't understand how anything could be adjudicated inside of this county without everyone recusing themselves, if we were operating above board with any of this.
You know, and it's really sad too, because my family has deep, deep, deep roots there. We're a founding family. We helped create that whole town, that whole community, along with others. And it wasn't me. It was the people that come before me, you know, and to sit there and to treat a family like that, that's not what their vision was. That wasn't what they helped build. They turn around and destroy. You know, if there's one thing I could say, don't wait and use a will. Don't put your pride aside and do it before you die. You know, that's the only way you can guarantee what you want done gets done.
An irrevocable trust. Like especially the FLP, even though it was useless in this case, at least you have a way of recourse too as well. So you kind of want to stay away from statutory um contracts, because then you enter into their domain and that's when they start their privateering. A common law trust, irrevocable trust, all these type of mechanisms, they give you shielding, and it's breach of trust to actually to penetrate that any of those things. So it gives you a recourse if something like this happens.
They didn't even have the jurisdiction to even attempt to mess with that FLP, the Calkins Legacy Land Limited Partnership. They're not an Article 3 court. They're an administration court. But back to where I was going before I got sidetracked, because there's a lot to this dang thing. So I had to fire that Quentin Riggins because it was clear he wasn't doing his job. Me and Mom found the work, and I gave it to him, and then he still says, "Oh well, you're right, but it wasn't formally put into the partnership." And I said, "Well, I gave you the documents. I'm doing the work that you should be doing." Well, I went to go give that guy a check. I wanted to meet this man that's trying to make me split up a fucking multi-generational cattle ranch. And when I get to his office, that's when it dawned on me. This is the same guy that I originally brought $500 to on behalf of Mom, just to get him to call the Doug Abrams and make him give up the will that they held on for 5 weeks. I was like, oh shit. No wonder why he ain't doing nothing. They're all in this niche, this club, suits and ties and robes. They're all buddies. They all work for the same principal. They all have each other's back, and they'll turn around and cover tracks and do whatever they want to do. It's corrupt as hell.
Everything they're operating is foreign control. The IBA, it's all filtered down. They're all subsidiaries. You're basically being run by foreign law. I mean, civil law is Roman civil law. It comes from the papists, the papal, however you want to say it. It goes back centuries. I mean, this isn't something that people just came out of the blue and wrote. These are patterns why Rome fell apart.
So now I'm by myself trying to find a different attorney. Conflicts of interest. Everybody I call, conflicts of interest. Too busy. Started calling outside. I calling outside attorneys, different states. They said, "Oh, that May Adams law firm and these people you're trying to go against, they're lobbyists. They're too big. I'm not a big enough law firm." It's like, oh, lobbyists. You guys are scared of these people because they're too politically powerful. And then so I'm moving forward by myself. So I drafted up before even Aaron showed up here. I typed up letters just demanding a full investigation, which was my right, which was my mom's right. They ignored my mom. She wanted an investigation done, into this whole deal. And then I'm demanding an investigation done on this whole deal. And they completely blindsided. They pushed through forward like some goddamn stubborn oxes. They just keep on going, keep on trudging through.
So as of right now, have they actually gone through with a partition of the ranch?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, the first they
lawfully it's null. I mean, but they've pretended to be, because what they've done, the documents, chain of title, so there's conveyance fraud. There's a bunch of things that make it, but just on the surface level, for the person who doesn't know what's going on, they're pretending that's gone through.
Well, and does that, I mean, because of the fraudulent nature of the original document, right, which is the will, everything kind of stems from Grandpa dies. There's this.
The will was never
right.
valid.
Nothing is valid. Right. Nothing is valid. Now, does that does that incriminate them for all of the fraud that they have committed?
Why do you think they're
afterwards
coming
as well,
so hard
right?
on him? They don't
Right.
want him to come
Right.
out because they've fabricated so many stories, and now you have the same person that we have a $550 million claim in a civil case. And that's not even us making the claim. That's a state making its own amount claim on the defendants. So we have nothing to do with that, except for we're going to make a claim on those securities. But the thing is it's crazy that the fact that she'd even have the nerve to send her. It either shows the blatant criminality or
then she starts trying to push on forward still, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I just got blindsided. I'm twisted up. I'm tormented. I don't know what the heck is going on. This is just absolutely absurd. My grandmother's in distraught. I'm in distraught. I'm like, and then this judge steps in. I'm like, what in the heck is going on? How can you be up there right now? I'm kind of lost for words. It's mind blowing. It's absolute mind blowing.
criminal cartel.
Even for me following it, right? Where it's just like, it just keeps getting wilder. But it's like you said, Aaron, they're in so deep now, right? They have made so many fraudulent, forged documents. They're so deep that they can't stop, right?
Well,
I mean, killing someone is not out of their realm
on
either.
Their faults. I mean, that's what they'll do. They'll keep doubling down. Instead, we've given them many opportunities to cure. We gave them opportunity to do this, professionally, responsibly, honorably. We've given them every single step along the way to give them an opportunity to come clean and just fix it. They're compounding their own problems at this point, and that's what they're trying to really hammer him, put him away for a few years, because that way, once you get torn away from your environment, you know how it destroys you. It destroys everybody. It's hard to gain things back and put things back in position, and it'd be a strategic win for them, even though everything's fabricated.
We'll do podcasts from a prison cell, Tyler. I don't give a fuck. Well, we just refuse to be silent because it's all we have. Right? It is all we have to stay in the public eye, to keep your story out there, to continue to tell it in real time, essentially, right? You are getting not something that happened months ago. This is in real time. Like,
speaking of in real time, I was on my computer and I'm using tools like ChatGPT to help me out, because I'm not a lawyer.
Well, the lawyers are using it too. That's how we ended up with a lot of this stuff inside of the system anyway. So continue.
So I'm in the middle of using it, and all of a sudden my documents go away. All of them. I'm like, what? So I start refreshing it, not there. I'm like, this is months upon months of work. And long time work of mom too. All of a sudden it's not there. I'm like, what in the heck's going on? And I was quick to go run over to my other computer, and it was still there. I saved it, I sent it to back it all up. And then I go to click into one of my deals, all of a sudden it's not there on that computer too. I'm like, what in the heck is going on? And so then they all disappear on that computer too. And I go call my mid-continent provider just to see, we're pretty intelligent DJing, we get electronic somewhat. I call mid-continent, and from the day that they arrested me, even during the day while we were at court, not even here, they've been trying to get in or getting into my computers. That I can understand it to a point, but they must be scared or worried about the work that I'm doing to go ahead and get rid of it. And, they stole my cell phone. They went outside of the scope of their warrant. They stole my cell phone. And that's how they got into my chat. You know, they had and I could even see where my other phone was active. And Mid-Continent has this documented. Uh, it's recorded and backed up, and they're sending me documents on that too. Um,
Well, and it's funny to me that, these powers that be, right? All of these people that are operating kind of what they assume is under the cloak of darkness, right? We have ways of finding out who these people are as well. I mean, there are IP addresses attached to these things that are going in. We may not have the money and the funds, right, to go and to expose all of that, but there's ways to find all of these things out and who's in there specifically. The fact that Mid-Continent can go in and easily tell you, hey, you're being accessed remotely. And I mean, there's really only a few vested interests that are against you right now. I would say the court of public opinion is behind you 100%.
The high traffic was when we were going to court that morning. So
that was really high that day. And all my computers and devices are off because we were leaving, and they're still trying to get in.
When they know for a fact that you are not on your phone or computer because you are locked in a courtroom, and they have access. So I mean, it almost stems to someone
and Mid-Continent can. If people don't understand, Mid-Continent can see like the computer we're on now, my desktop. It can see the TVs. It sees the phone. It knows
MAC addresses.
It knows the devices by name, And the one that they are really hammering on the most was my computer desktop, and that's a new computer. I got it just for this work stuff. I didn't have it before, but I was like, shit, I need to get one of these. I got to do a bunch of work and research, and I need a computer for that. And then even I was on it, and I started seeing magnifying glasses everywhere on all my folders and everything, and then it turned into little boxes, and then it turned back into magnifying glasses. I'm like, somebody's in my computer. I could see this. They weren't taking control of the mouse, but they were taking control of the data. And there's nothing wrong on my computer. They're probably just like,
well, they want to know what you know. They want to know what you're working on.
Evidence.
Yeah,
there's a lot of evidence. You know what?
That was their discovery.
Yeah,
files,
exactly what it is.
Files.
How to defend themselves against the criminality, basically. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Yeah, it's just there's so many criminal actions that have been taken at this point by them. I mean, we just say them because I mean, yeah, there's names attached to this, but who's doing what? I mean, the dragnet at this point is so wide. So many people have implicated themselves into this case. It's unreal.
So I get in front of the Judge Klinger, and I'm like, she's like, "Do you understand what's going on? What I'm trying to tell you?" I'm like, I'm sitting there looking, trying to grasp what's going on. I'm like, I need more time. I don't even know how to even talk to you right now because I just got bombarded and blasted and emotionally distraught and distressed. And, you guys just, I don't even know how.
Which are their tactics?
I don't even understand how you're sitting in front of me right now, Judge.
Right. Well, which are their tactics? I mean, they have stopped at nothing to torment you, to harass you, I mean, criminal activity against you in every fashion. It's no surprise that they would try to bamboozle you when you walk in the courtroom and to bring a large police presence to stress you out, to talk to your grandmother ahead of time, to stress you out so that you are compromised walking in front of that bench so that you make decisions, right, that aren't of your right mind. If you're emotionally compromised, you cannot make sound decisions. And this is exactly what they're trying to do to you. It's exactly the same play that they've done against, like I said, Aaron, and we all know now because so many other families are starting to come out of the woodwork with this, that these are their tactics. There is a playbook that they are running. You have just forced them to get way deeper into that playbook than they usually have to because of their resilience.
I didn't want any of this stuff.
Who does? Who would? Who would want to be
Well,
like, you know what? I want to dedicate years of my life to defending the legacy of my family because a bunch of crooks are trying to steal it. It's crazy.
pirates.
It, it's it's crazy.
Yeah, you can't make this crap up. And I just hope it doesn't happen to anybody else because not everybody can handle stuff like this. I wonder how I handle this stuff every day, you know? Just keep pushing forward. If it wasn't for my mom and my gramps and my grandmother, they raised me really well.
Well, and they raised you to continue the legacy. And that's why it was so important for you to have all of these years on the ranch. Tyler, the entire time I mean, your DJ name is DJ Cowboy, right? Like that's how most people would know you because that is who you are. You are a rancher. You are of the land and of those animals, and that legacy was instilled in you. And it is not a name or a piece of property, is something that lives inside of you that is pushing you. And that's what I see. And that's why I'm willing to put my name and my network out there in support of you, because that's what we are here for. Right. And I didn't know that until really we started talking. Yes, I had done a little interview with Shad Sullivan and talking about the Mod family on here, but to save other families from the same tragedy that is befalling you, that is our mission, right? And it starts here, but in no way is it ending with this saga on either side, right? Like they're not going to stop doing what they're doing, even if they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar in your case. It doesn't end here. There are families currently that are going through this. We just don't know who they are yet because they have been beaten down in much the same ways that you are, to being silent and to feeling like there's no one out there that's going to help them.
That land and that ranch, that is my family. I lost them, but what they're doing is like losing them all over again.
Well, I want to bring something to the table. The arguments that we're doing basically would unwind any single judgment that these judges have done for how many ever years they've been working. So the arguments, what we're bringing to the table is basically an argument that will obliterate, vitiate everything they've done for years. So we're talking criminal CPS. It doesn't matter what category of law that we're dealing with. It brings out the fraudulent nature of a foreign interest that had been abusing the people in this community. So the arguments that we are bringing to the table, please, I really hope that everybody gets a chance to read and go through, because those things are absolute fact. There's no arguing about it. They're things that, void for vagueness laws, when things conflict, everything has to, the statutory law has to be set aside when it comes to constitutional rights, but they're not doing that. And when they implement civil code, it actually is foreign to most Americans, and people don't realize that because we've been indoctrinated and taught and trained by foreign interests, and they're not even, people don't even you can ask a police officer about the Constitution, and most of them won't even get past one.
Yeah, if people don't start waking up, it's going to be a really, really ugly world for our kids' kids and our,
Well, that's
hell,
just
heck,
it.
Just us when we get older.
Yeah, well, we already don't have anything, Tyler. I have nothing. There's no inheritance for me coming down from generations. They've already stolen it. Right? They've already taken everything that, a small thing that my family had, and so, and that's just through economic means, right? That's just by hyperinflation and devaluing what we have anyway. Right? That's by no nefarious means whatsoever.
Unconventional warfare, that's one of the mechanisms, is financial. One would be legal. There's other different mechanisms that use in unconventional warfare. So everybody's thinking that we're not under attack. We're absolutely under attack through subversion, through deceptive means. You go back to what the dollar was worth 80 years ago. We were talking about it's only a penny fraction. again, I'll come back to the most basic. Mice would be smarter because they wouldn't eat the plastic cheese. It's time to really, really, really think about what's actually going on because we'd all be better off if we just cut bait.
Well, and we're gonna get you on, Aaron, and kind of run through some of the paperwork. I think that would be good for us at this point because we've covered a lot and we're pretty current on what's happening in this case specifically now. That we can start to move forward to the greater ramifications of what you're doing, right?
Well, what I could do is actually do Speechify, and if you want, I could actually record the videos because it's a lot of reading. Some of them are quite extensive because there's a lot to it. I mean, you're talking about investments, mutual bonds. You're talking about major securities. It's not a simple subject. And now I reason why I know this stuff because I've been like management to implementing credit card service for the whole Bank of Australia. I mean, I've been around the investment. I've been around the different segments. I actually work for a court clerk as a senior software engineer working on car reports, which is court appearance records, which I realized that they're bonding people behind people's back just on appearance records. And this is state to state to state. So we've definitely done the due diligence and the work to be able to bring this stuff forward.
Aaron, is it safe to say that these small town lawyers and judges have no idea who the fuck you are?
Yes.
Okay.
They have no idea. And they're just ignoring everything because they're not competent or capable to answer the questions.
And they're like, oh, he's gonna throw you in jail. He's gonna have you thrown in jail. It's like, you know, at least he came to help. Nobody else did.
Right. Everybody else is just, hey, settle this, sell the land, just let it go. You don't want to deal with any of this stuff. And
Of course, that's what con artists do, right?
Man.
That's what slime balls do.
Yep. Well, and if it's not them, it's the government trying to death tax you and the, estate taxes and
There's
and
only
just
two
everything.
responsibilities: protect your property and protect your rights, and they've miserably failed all across the board. They've failed everybody. I mean, people have to understand they're your servant. They're there to help you. You're the sovereign. The American man or woman is the sovereign, and you've hired these people to help you, to assist you, not to rape you and fleece you and steal from you, purloin from you your property.
And let's not get that confused with sovereign citizen. I had to go and become a state national so I can have my constitutional rights back in Foley. Don't let them try to twist things around. What's wrong with the Constitution? Why do they not like the Constitution? Well, that's the supreme law of the land. And by God, I think I don't see any oceans around here.
Well, and those are our rights, right?
Yeah,
Well,
we're not
actually, your
our
guarantees. They're your
Right.
guarantees. You've implemented them for them to follow those. They've implemented a caste system.
And
More so.
if people don't start paying attention and start caring a little bit, we're probably going to lose them.
Well, and I think that, we're very fortunate right now in this age of information and where society is, our last election cycle. I think there is a hunger for exactly what we're doing. And it's a reason that our episodes have been getting a lot of traction online as well, right? People are watching this. People are interested, not just in your story, but in the ramifications it has for every single citizen, whether they have a multi-million-dollar cattle ranch or not. We all need to be vested in our rights and in the knowledge of said rights.
Well, they've been stealing from Americans for 3, 4, 5 generations. Okay, they've got securities behind everybody's back. Okay, so once everybody actually realized that, you know what, there's no need for struggling because they've been stealing and they've purloined your estates, right? And they're holding it as collateral so they could hypothecate new investments and new opportunities for themselves. Meanwhile, you're all just a bunch of chattel for their benefit. I mean, people really have to understand that this comes through IMF, UN, through these different international organizations, that these arrangements were made prior to any of us being born. And that's where the disconnect happens because they do it over generations. They don't all do it at once. It's a slow.
And there's a lot to it. I I sit there and listen to this stuff, and I listen to this stuff, and it's like, holy heck! But the average person ain't gonna sit there and read it. They're gonna be like, "Oh, look at that big old thing." And it's like I do the same thing. I'm like, "Shit, that's a lot of damn reading." Thankfully, there's things like Speechify that'll read it for you, and you just listen. Just kick the radio off. No, that's coming from a DJ. Kick the radio off. Listen to something. Sometimes you'll be
Yeah.
surprised what you'll learn.
Listen to something that's going to make you a little bit smarter and probably protect you in the future, because I think this is eventually this machine comes for all of us. And right now it just happens to be the Calkins family ranch, but it could be any one of our listeners that will go through this.
It's
And
gonna get to the point it's communism.
well, we are teetering on that edge.
Well,
Quite
just so
literally.
everybody knows, under Title 50, communists don't have rights in America. So it's pretty straightforward but again, we have a bunch of con artists that are foreign agents, legal liars that are in control of the clubs and the sticks. And these people, the clubs and the sticks, are just following blindly. So you wonder why what happened in Germany back in the day when no, that would never happen. Well, these people aren't paying attention. They're just brainwashed. It's almost like the zombie apocalypse because they're just blindly obeying without questioning.
Yeah, please, people, help us get the word out. You know,
Yeah,
share it.
and not just for Tyler, right? This is a much
Everybody.
larger issue for yourself. We're going to use this channel to continue to educate you, to continue to share stories like Tyler's, and to not use, but to communicate with people like Aaron, who are extremely knowledgeable, who can educate myself, right? Like, mostly I'm very selfish about this. I want to be educated, but there's no reason that we can't use this platform to educate more and more people and to change
Reach out if you got issues. If you got some issues, reach out. You know,
Yeah,
we can
and they
help
already
each other.
have. Like I said, it's
We already have a RICO case, but the more the merrier. That way, we with him alone, the list of RICO violations, but really anybody can get involved. I mean, I'm working as a private attorney general doctrine, which basically allows a private man or woman to litigate situations like that. But they're so afraid of the arguments that I'm bringing to the table. They're not even acknowledging it because that it just expresses that the criminality that what they're doing.
because
Oh,
it's similar to the will. When you hire an attorney to examine that will, them acknowledging you is acknowledging that the claims that you're bringing also have some validity as well. But I have to assume there's timelines to these things, and eventually their hand is going to be forced into answering these arguments. And I think they will stop at nothing to pressure Tyler into ending this all if they don't try to end Tyler himself, right? I mean, we
Yeah,
already kind
that's
of know
the part.
that. Well, that's why we have to be public, right? That is the function of the Patriot Broadcasting Project at this point. We're not really doing any other content other than covering this saga because I don't have time to cover anything else, right? Like, this is consuming.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Bubba. I hopefully we can get some stuff straightened out and resolved, and and get you more help. We need to get you a bigger studio and maybe some more help to get you going. And that's another thing. Where's the news networks? I've reached out to them. I've reached out to all of them.
Completely
Where you guys
compromised.
at?
I mean, they're
Yeah.
part of the system. All these people in suits, whether they're on TV or behind a bench or in front of a bench. I mean, they're all part of a very small club, and we're not part of it, right?
No.
And that's really what it comes down to. It is us against them, and we are a lot more numerous and a lot louder than I think they had bargained for. I don't think when they started this against you, Tyler, that they really knew who you were and the following that you had built because of your other profession, right, in the entertainment world, and your connection to people like me who have, their platforms of their own and people paying attention. That brings the pressure onto them. And obviously they're feeling it because they wouldn't be going to such lengths if they weren't feeling said pressure. So we're going to keep it up. I mean, we're going to put the hammer down on them and to make sure that this doesn't go away. right? We're not going to stop talking about it. We're not going to stop naming them by name and putting this out there. And yeah, even if they come with injunctions, I've been to prison before, Tyler. I'm not afraid to go back.
Well, this is an important cause. I mean, when he tells me, "Oh, you're afraid of my," I'm not afraid of my life. I'm afraid not to do something because it's that important. You know, I don't. It's not.
Oh, you want to talk about prisons or jails? Hell, that Winter City jail. I had water around my bed. There's mold on the goddamn stud uprights. The sheetrock's all torn out on the bottom. There's mold on the carpet. And you know that damn jail, you guys got gnats flying around. They got biscuits that they cook at like 5 o'clock, and then they feed them to you in the morning for breakfast, but they stay in the oven all night, and there's gnats flying all over the place. And you get it's a little cup of peanut butter and a couple biscuits for your breakfast, and every other day you might get a thing of ham. It's like you guys get like $10,000 a day. I understand it's jail, but there are also people in there. You can't be doing that.
They're still
You know,
citizens, right? They're still Americans.
Well, they're profiting. Half of them is charged
Oh,
by
it-
information. So really, unless there's a corpus delicti, there really isn't a crime. So what they've created is a network of code to penalize people around inhabitants of the area. So really, and then again, anything that's not constitutional is null and void. But these SOPs that they're following are all implemented by foreign interests.
like a basketball. All right. How much does a basketball cost? Right? They got basketballs in there. They're all lopsided and deformed. They don't bounce right. The one good one, half the leather's torn off of it just because that's about the only good thing that they
Not
get
to
in there.
mention
And
not to mention they sent a couple of hitmen in there to try and off you while you were there. But let's just, bury the lead. Tyler.
Possibly it was very suspect at best. Thank God I had some Native American cousins in there that kept an eye on me and watched out for me, and
Well, and talk about another
heck,
thing.
they even got on with them. Oh, what was he putting money on your books for? It's like, well, shit, I was waiting for some commissary money to come in, and they wanted a little phone time. Well, heck, you can't just call in and use your card to put some commissary money on there for them, but you can get phone time put on instantly. So it was just a little bartering going on. They needed a little phone time, and I wanted to have a pop and a bag of chips. So, and then they're harassing them, and I think they even turned around and maxed that kid out because he just showed a little kindness to me. And it's that same judge, that Killinger, whatever, Klinger.
She needs to be arrested.
These people should be
She
ashamed of
needs to be-
themselves.
She needs to be arrested. I mean, you don't.
How would they like it if the shoe was on the other foot?
Well,
the,
but
the,
that's
the golden rule, the simple
Right.
golden rule that you don't treat people like that.
Just because you wear a robe doesn't make you better than other people, and you shouldn't be treating people like that.
no.
Well, when
no.
people actually find out how they've been operating, you know what, the tar and feathers won't be far behind,
And that-
because when
and
people
that-
really comprehend.
That Winter
Right.
City jail, I got videos out, so it's not just my word. I got a list of inmates that were in there that they signed that. We're gonna be starting a lawsuit on them too, because it's just inhumane. It really, well, the mold's the biggest thing. There's
Right.
an old man laying on a cot, and he's breathing in mold. Like, they don't give a shit.
No.
Well, it's a
No, they
revenue
don't.
generation, right? It's revenue
But
generation.
not saying some of
Yeah.
some of the employees in there are good people,
Right.
And I'm not saying the employees are bad people. Heck, one of the CEOs said that you need me to come in and subpoena me, and he's like, I'll testify that you never signed that document. There's good
Well, he
people in
says
there.
that now until the pressure is put on him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a
Boys,
subpoena's a
I-
subpoena, I guess.
Yeah,
You
well,
can't
I
change
guess,
it.
hey, man, if they're willing to forge and lie everywhere else, they're gonna step on a stand and, hey, buddy, we're not gonna charge you for a felony for towing the company line. this saga continues. It's just wild. I get something from Tyler almost every day now that just completely blows my
I feel
mind.
bad.
But I always feel like it shows that we're having an effect, right? And not just in the courtroom, but I think this public pressure that we're putting on with our social media presences and with these things and I have some legislators and other people that I can look into as well, right, that I've done some favors for, that I can kind of get out there and to at least ask some questions, right, and try to get some answers about who the people higher up, because this goes all the way to the top. I mean, I know you spoke about, conversations that your mom had with our ex-governor as well. Like this goes all the way
Oh,
through.
oh,
It's
you
everywhere.
got one that's coming up, that John Hanson. I reached out to him. He's getting ready to run for governor. Where you at, John? You're gonna want to be our governor, and you got corruption smack dab in your face, and you where you at? Your job's to help people, not ignore it.
Well, avoid and ignore. That's their MO.
If it doesn't fit your perfect little picture, you avoid it, and you paint the picture of the white picket fence family, and then you turn around and you destroy it.
Well, when's the next
Yeah.
court date?
Hopefully there isn't one, unless it's in the Supreme Court, because the way this is, they can't judge themselves.
No.
That's a maximum of law. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Common
So
sense.
there really shouldn't be one. There really shouldn't. There's too much wrongs.
Good. Then we keep up the pressure.
But if it have to, August 11th, Murdo, South Dakota, people, please show up. Last time they were using intimidation tactics and just exert pressure, and I only had two people show up besides my grandmother and her friend. And I very appreciated of it. I know it's a long way to go.
Hey, I know Murdo well. I know Murdo well. I'm there several times a year.
Next one, August 11th, isn't that rally time?
Right around there, yeah, right after. It's the Monday after rally.
So I'm gonna probably be seeing how many vets want to come support.
Yeah, family.
Yeah. Well, we're going
Right.
to organize that. I'll be out there for rally talking about it, and we'll see if we can't get fill that courtroom up with support and really let them feel that pressure, because it's the only thing that's going to get something done. I think until these public officials see that we're not going away, which I think would be perfectly evident at this point.
Unless
but
they
that
make me
the
go
story's
away,
out
come
there.
use
Well,
their mob bugs again.
well, but you can't silence it. And honestly, at this point, it's like you've said before, at this point, if they try to unalive you, then you become a martyr, right? And you get even more cost. So they almost cause more problems for themselves by trying something. So
They can correct this stuff. They can restore justice to,
They're insured, and plus they're not the principals. You got to think who are the principals, and no one knows where the money goes to and how these mutual funds and where it all goes. Again, they don't have to be protecting people that are foreign, that are enemies to the United States, and that's who they're protecting, and they don't even know that they're doing it.
well, and
Thank
we're
you,
gonna put an
Bubba.
end. We're gonna put an end to all of it, and we're gonna start with a court date, August 11th, in Murdo, South Dakota, where we'll be showing up in force to support our brother Tyler and to be there for you guys. If they won't let you have cameras in there, then we will have plenty of eyeballs to document and witness what is happening inside of these courtrooms. Tyler, Aaron, I appreciate you guys coming on again today, continuing to share this story, and for being brothers, man. I appreciate, Aaron, for you coming out. I mean, out of the kindness of your heart. You're not being paid to be here to do any of this for
Too
any of us,
important.
so.
I wouldn't. I mean, I'm giving up. I make $20,000 a month doing software engineer. I've been a software engineer for 35 years. So I basically taken time off to get this done because it's that important. I mean, the money doesn't mean anything at this point because it's a joke anyways, but it's This is important. This is important to everybody. I mean, if we can make this, we can help the whole entire country because this is, we're standing on that position right now, on that mound.
And there's so much more.
Well,
There's so
and
much more.
right. And if you listeners want to get more, make sure you're following the channel. You can jump on and find Tyler on Facebook. He shares a ton of documents there. We've been doing our best to keep up and try to repost those things on the Patriot Broadcasting Project Facebook page as well.
Oh, the reason why I was dumping so much is because it's like I had to get this out
now you're
before they
scared,
put
right?
me away and before it disappears or they steal it or
they're in your
I
computers.
disappear.
They're in your phone. They're everywhere. So yeah, good on you for getting this stuff out there. And we're going to continue to push it on our pages. And we recommend that you share everything as well to get it out there, just for the simple fact of you don't know who this could help. You don't know how many people in your life are dealing with some of these same
I'm not
tactics.
a Clinton friend. I'm not a friend of the Clintons.
Well, there's no statutes of limitation on fraud, and there's no latches on equity. So anybody that's been harmed over the last 10, 20 years, this is our chance to deal with your grievances, because basically it implodes their house of cards that's laying on quicksand.
They were trying to right at the last minute. They weren't expecting me to make bail. Right at the last second, they were wanting to put stipulations that I couldn't leave the Sixth Circuit court system. Like I had to stay in their jurisdiction.
And that had to stay away from me.
Yeah. It's like, and they're like, oh, Aaron's known to have guns. I'm like, that was my fucking gun, you dipshits. Doesn't have no weapons. I gave you all my guns, you dumb people. They're just.
Tyler, you're as real as it gets, man. And I appreciate you continuing to share this story. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy to go through what you've gone through, but it takes a lot of balls to put yourself out here and to deal with this publicly. A lot of people would have laid down already, and you continue to stand, and we stand with you. And I speak for all of our listeners out there as well, that we are behind you. I cannot thank our listeners enough for sharing this and getting these videos out there, and continuing to follow along with this. I mean, it's just a saga. This is an epic tale that needs to be told, and it doesn't stop with a resolution to the Calkins Ranch. This is going all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Patriot Broadcasting Project will be following it all the way. So thank you for tuning in, boys. Thanks for being here. We'll chat soon. And I mean, if I don't see you during rally, I'll be there in Murdo August 11th. So you guys take care. Stay alive till then, Tyler.
Thank you, Bubba.
Thank you, Bubba.